Good evening, it's Monday the 8th of June, I'm Dowd Army, this is Yeah Right News on Yeah Right TV. Firstly, let's give you the coronavirus update. There's 62 deaths from coronavirus recorded in the last 24 hours. That's 40,542 deaths across all settings that were tested. Both Scotland and Northern Ireland recorded 0 deaths. And there are 6,413 people currently in hospital with COVID-19 in the UK. The USA remains the worst affected country with just over 110,000 infections and 110,000 deaths and 2 million infections. You know what I mean. New Zealand, on the other hand, is totally coronavirus free after its last patient recovered. So they're totally free of coronavirus. So as numbers in the UK come down, everyone now wonders what's next. Will there be a second wave in autumn as the flu season kicks in? How many job losses once furlough finishes? How long do we have to keep socially distancing for? We can hit the beaches, hit the parks, we can protest, we can riot, we can loot, but when can we go and see our fucking family? You know what I mean? Indoors, I mean, not sitting in the garden in the fucking rain like a bunch of fuddles. The questions go on. Now, there is still 5,000 new infections in the UK every day, yeah? But if pubs, restaurants, cinemas, bowling alleys and hotels and places like that don't reopen soon, hundreds of more businesses will close with millions and millions of job losses. Now, the next 6 months are critical in our lives. What happens next and what the Conservative government does now over the next few months is going to affect all of us and have a major bearing on our lives for the foreseeable future. You get me? Not me. Now, with all these marches going on across the UK and America for Black Lives Matter, firstly, this first slogan should be all lives matter. All lives matter. That should be the focus, you know what I mean? Secondly, attacking police, rioting and looting is basically a piss take. Bunch of idiots. Over 30 police officers were hurt yesterday in London. People throwing bikes at them, different and stuff like that. And all they were trying to do, was keep the peace. You know what I mean? Now, in Bristol, a statue of a 17th century slave trader who took over 80,000 Africans to America as slaves has stood. That statue has stood still since the 1890s. He used his money to invest, which he used from the slave trade, to invest in Bristol, from schools to hospitals to infrastructure. So in the 1890s, he was a bit of a hero, like, you know what I mean? He'd like changed the city. So therefore, they built a statue for him. So back in that day, that was a time that was right. But now, you know what I mean? Looking at 130 years later, that statue should have been taken down by the council ages ago because it's not practically correct as to what the situation is now. It should not have been ripped down by a bunch of protesters and dragged across the floor and thrown in a wasses in the river, you know what I mean. So now we go to Winston Churchill. People have been attacking his statue with graffiti. Now, Winston saying he was a racist, he was this. Now, he was. Winston Churchill was responsible for up to 3 million deaths in Bengal in India due to complete policy failure of a racist empire in 1943. I'm not got into it. Look into it, you know what I mean. So, but in the UK, what he did made him a hero and a legend for how he led the nation through their time of need during World War II when Hitler was about to head over. You know what I'm saying? So in India, obviously, a statue of, Winston Churchill is not practical to have because in India he was a cunt and he killed loads of people. But over here, there should be a statue because he's an icon in British history for the war years because he was the leader, you know what I mean? He was the one. So of course there should be a statue. Of course British people should look up to him and go, yeah man, you killed it. Although he was a racist, you know what I mean? Now with what's been happening in America, we've got a special guest with us to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Samuel L. Jackson. You read the Bible, Red? What? I said, do you read the Bible, Red? No, Mr. Jackson. I don't read the Bible, mate. I'm a Sikh. Well, there's a passage I have memorized for times like this. Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of the darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance on you. Yeah, thanks for that, Mr. Jackson. That was interesting, if you should say so the least, you know what I mean? Now, in other news, after the British Dental Association warns of severe disruption due to coronavirus, patients are advised to brace themselves. What I mean? In Syria, Italian football clubs simulate the presence of fans by playing racial slurs on the loudspeakers. And in Scotland, thousands join anti-racism protests. Hashtag Ginger Lives Matter is gathering momentum. Not a me. A new definition of the word testiculate is added to the English dictionary. And the elderly appeal for more supplies to be delivered after lockdown. Wetherspoons unveil their new social distancing toilets. And finally, a fresh appeal is made to the government to open beauty salons as lockdown begins to take its toll on the women of the UK. Right then, so there's no sport update today because there's no fucking sport. Now, the weather over the next few days is going to be a bit cloudy with a few sunny spells, but we've got a heavy-duty heat wave coming in 7 to 10 days, you know what I mean? Great opportunity to smash out the beaches and deal with it. I will see you later on this week. And also, please do tweet us at YaRightTV, all capital letters. You know what I mean? We'd like to hear from you. What would you like to see on the news and what you wouldn't like to see? You know what I'm saying. So I'm Dowd Army. This is YaRight News on YaRight TV. YaRight.